Hi, this is Evan Lang with Evan Lang Law, and I know it's been a while since I've done a Water Cooler Wednesday, and today's Friday, but I think today's topic of what happens if no presidential candidate gets enough electoral votes to become president will be an interesting topic to discuss today. In our system of government, the popular vote does not determine who becomes president. The electoral votes determine who becomes president. Each state has at least 3 electoral votes, and this also includes the District of Columbia. Electoral votes are counted by how many senators you have. Every state has 2, and then how many representatives the state has, which is at least 1. So the very minimum is 3, and you can get as many as 55 in California. It requires 270 out of 538 electoral votes to become president of the United States. Now, when there have been 2 parties, the only time somebody wouldn't get above 270 is when you had a tie at 269 and 269. However, there's been a lot of talk about having a third party run this election cycle, so I'd like to put up a map and kind of show you what it would look like in an electoral college map if nobody got the requisite amount of votes. This map shows an election in which there are 3 presidential candidates receiving electoral votes, a Democrat, a Republican, and one from the fictitious Whig Party. Because no single candidate received 270 votes on election night, there is no president elected. If the electoral votes do not determine the president on election night, then the House of Representatives, the newly elected House of Representatives, they get to choose the president of the United States, but it's probably not in the way that you would figure. The interesting thing about the House of Representatives choosing the president is that each state's delegation would choose the president, meaning there are only 50 votes to choose the president at that point. So this would require 26 House delegations to agree on a candidate in order to select a president. The interesting thing that could occur here is a blue state like Michigan or Pennsylvania may vote for the Republican because their state legislatures decided to gerrymander districts so that their congressional delegation favored the Republican Party, whereas the populace may have supported a different candidate. The House of Representatives can only select from the top 3 electoral vote recipients. So say Mitt Romney got no electoral votes, but was in the race, the House of Representatives couldn't select him. They would have to choose from the top 3. If the House of Representatives is not able to get 26 state delegations to select a president, then the vice president would act as sitting president until the House could agree on who would be president. Although they are technically separate elections, if no presidential candidate reached a 270 vote threshold to become president, it's very likely no vice presidential candidate would also receive the requisite 270 votes. So the vice president is the president of the Senate, and the Senate would then choose the vice president. In a hypothetical scenario where the Republicans control the House and the Democrats control the Senate, you could actually end up with a Republican president and a Democratic vice president. So now imagine the scenario where the House could not select a president and the Senate cannot select a vice president, so we don't have anybody to act as sitting president. Then the burden shifts to the Speaker of the House, who is currently Paul Ryan. And Paul Ryan would serve as our sitting president until either house chose somebody. Naturally, you can see that having a situation where no presidential candidate or vice presidential candidate gets to 270 votes to become president could create some really interesting constitutional consequences. So here's to really exciting November. And if you haven't done so already, please like my Facebook page, facebook.com/Evan Lang Law. You can also visit my website, evanlanglaw.com. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you next time.